Hey guys, so I thought I'd make a video on how to properly identify any sort of emotions you might be having, because for some people, you may have a lot going on inside of you, but you're just not exactly sure how you're feeling and you're just kind of lost. So here's a diagram that some of you may or may not have seen, and what it does is it basically breaks emotions up into two main categories, or two main dimensions, you could say. So we have our positive emotions here on my right, and then the negative emotions on the left, right? So that's the first dimension, is how positive or negative it is. And then we also have low arousal and high arousal. So basically, how much energy is behind the emotion, how much arousal there is. So chances are, if we're struggling with mental health and we want to feel better and want to heal ourselves, chances are we're primarily going to be on the left side over here. The more negative emotions are the ones that we kind of want to learn to deal with better. So what you want to do is ask yourself, how aroused am I? How much, energy is there behind this emotion? And how, negative is it, right? So as we can see, if it's a little more high arousal, it's probably something more around, anger or frustration, right? However, if it's lower arousal, we have depressed, tired, bored, things like that, right? So once you're able to figure out which quadrant you're in, then you can then from there you can even try to further narrow it down, right? So let's say you're down in this quadrant, right? So chances are, if the emotion is very, has lower arousal, but it's very unpleasant, chances are it's probably depression, right? However, if it's not, super unpleasant, not super negative, but it's still low arousal, chances are you're either just bored or tired, right? And then once we can kind of figure out what emotion we're feeling, then it's just as simple as, going to our therapist or our coach and saying, hey, this is how I feel. What kind of tools do you got for me, right? And how can you help me out, right? And I even have some videos on this channel that could potentially help you guys out with some of these emotions, right? So anyways, I just wanted to make a quick video on how to help identify any emotions you might be having,